Now, before you go disliking the video and typing your little think pieces, no, this isn't a video bashing Ghost of Yōtei, okay? I'm not doom posting about the game just yet. Honestly, from what I've seen, it seems like it's just gonna be another Ghost of Tsushima. Does that mean it's gonna be a bad game? No, because Ghost of Tsushima wasn't a bad game. Sure, I think it was like a little overrated, but I still enjoyed my time with it, and I would be damn lying to you if I said that it was a bad game. And also, I am well aware that open world games aren't technically a dead genre, because there's millions of them being made every single year. But also, that's sorta why I believe they have become pretty much a dead genre, or at the bare minimum, incredibly stale. Sure, you can make the argument that maybe I've just played too many open world games, so naturally I would get burnt out of them. Which you may have a point, but I believe open world games have become so formulaic that you can pretty much put every open world game in like 3 categories. Category 1. You got the quest/story-based open world games. Think of games made by like CDPR, Sony, or like any Rockstar game. These games don't have a big incentive to actually explore the open world. So like if a quest marker isn't there, then there really isn't a reason to go like anywhere to explore the world, unless you're somebody who likes to find like random Easter eggs just for the fun of it. Now, this isn't a bad way to make an open world game. I mean, look at like every Rockstar game ever and how successful their games are. I mean, GTA 5 is the most successful game ever. And sure, a huge portion of that is because of GTA Online. But we're not going to sit here and act like GTA 5 doesn't have an amazing story and core gameplay loop. There is a reason why it has survived over a decade, and it's not simply just because of the online. And again, this has been a proven formula to work for just about all of their games. People love Red Dead 1 and 2, and I'm one of them. I think those are 2 of the greatest games ever made, if you ask me. Like, Red Dead 2 is literally peak when it comes to this category. Now, if this is the route that you are going to take, then you need to make sure that the quest, the stories, and the characters are all good. Because if you're going to make the player travel across this huge open world and the quest, the characters, and the story fucking suck, then why would I continue to play the game? For example, take the game Mind's Eye, which I actually did play for about 3 hours, and it was about as trash as a game like this could actually be. Like, if we're gonna keep it 1,000 here, this game is like unironically a 4 out of 10. The story sucks, and honestly doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It feels like AI wrote this game's story because it makes little to no sense whatsoever. And I'm not meaning like the story is just bad, but like nothing actually connects with each other. Like constantly while playing this game, again, I only played it for 3 hours. I was constantly asking myself, why am I doing this? How did I get here? Why is this happening? What the fuck is going on? It truly feels like they just made like a bunch of like random ass levels that like would stereotypically be put into a video game and tried to like attempt to make a story out of those levels. Like there was no roadmap whatsoever when it came to making this game, which leads to more problems that this game has because the combat is dog shit. It is the most generic console shooter ever. The open world isn't even really an open world because apparently you don't even unlock free roam until you beat the game, which like defeats the entire purpose of making an open world, but okay. Then category 2, these are exploration based open world games, and this is definitely going to take the cake for being my favorite type of open world game. But sadly, there isn't really that many of them that get made, or there isn't many good ones out there. The biggest ones that come to my mind are obviously Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and also Bethesda games. Shit, you can even maybe stretch in survival crafting games to that list. But these are games that are really just that like you need a dedicated team to pull off, because otherwise you'll end up with pretty much Starfield. But I really think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are games that perfectly pulled this off, which I know might sound crazy to a very, very few amount of people who watched my Tears of the Kingdom review. But believe it or not, I actually do not hate Tears of the Kingdom, nor do I think it's a bad game. Because if you want to boil this video down, I really just wish Tears of the Kingdom was more than just Breath of the Wild with Sky Islands in an empty-ass underground area. Plus, Breath of the Wild is just better. I hate to break it to you, but Breath of the Wild is just better. Then you have Bethesda games, which haven't been good since, let's see. Look, I'll be generous and I'll say Fallout 4, even though Fallout 4 is like incredibly mid. But compared to everything else that is released past Fallout 4, Fallout 4 isn't that bad. I would say Fallout 4 was the last decent game that Bethesda actually made. And again, if you watch this video right here, you would know that Bethesda is absolutely dead to me. I have not even that. I have no faith in them anymore. So that leaves survival crafting games, which, if I'm being honest, outside of like Terraria, and if you really want to stretch in Factorio to that list, then I really don't give a fuck about these games anymore. To me, they are just massive chore simulators, and really, if you don't have any friends to play these games with, they really aren't that fun. I don't know, I find exploring random procedurally generated worlds with nothing in them to be that fun. Not saying that they are bad games, but you definitely need the right type of autism to really sink hundreds of hours into these type of games. Lastly, there's category 3, and this is what I would like to call like the Ubisoft-esque open world games, where you have this giant story, but outside of the story, you have this big open world that is filled with a bunch of copy-paste activities that are only really there to give you the illusion that like there's a lot to do in this open world, even though, again, you're just going to be doing like the same 4 to 5 fucking activities. I think for the most part, everyone is kind of sick of this shit, because I'd say this is like the most common type of open world game. Thankfully, it seems like Ubisoft is very close to dying, because Shadows absolutely flopped. And that was, I think, their last real shot. I mean, sure, I think, like, if you want to be technical about it, Far Cry 7 will be their final opportunity to make something happen. But if I'm being real here, I don't really think anyone cares for Far Cry anymore. Or at that point, or really just any Ubisoft game for that matter. I mean, once you've played one Ubisoft game, you've pretty much played all of them, let's be honest here. Then, I know I said 3, but I'll add category 4 in here, which isn't that big of a category, but I would say it's the realistic, like, sim open world games. Think of like Stalker and Kingdom Come. This will be, again, pretty quick because there isn't really much to say about these games. They're very niche and something that isn't going to be like really liked by the masses. Like, for instance, I like the Stalker games and I even like Stalker 2. I think it's a really fun, realistic type of game. Is it for everyone? Fuck no. The best way I can describe it is like a really realistic Fallout. So like if you're not somebody who's looking for like a really down-to-earth post-apocalyptic game, then Stalker will probably be boring as hell to you. Just like how, for me, Kingdom Come, like those games are so fucking boring and trash to me. Sure, I don't think that they're like necessarily like trash, but I just cannot get into them. They are not fun to me. I tried playing the first one on my PS5 and I just couldn't do it. My biggest problem with these games are unironically the combat. I don't think the Kingdom Come games combat works for a controller. I think it's so jank that like you need a keyboard and mouse to play it. And I also understand that being trash in the Kingdom Come games is like kind of a necessity. Like it is a core aspect of these games that like being bad is like part of the experience. But I don't know, that game just never clicked for me. So, I guess this leads me to Ghost of Yōtei, where, truthfully, I don't really have much to say about it. I think it's going to be Ghost of Tsushima again, with maybe a few new gameplay elements, but it's just going to be another cinematic, open-world Sony game. What I am happy to see is that they understood what really made Ghost of Tsushima stand out, and that was the art direction of that game. Because if there is one thing that I will die hard on about Ghost of Tsushima, other than the ending. I think the ending of Ghost of Tsushima is fucking amazing. But Ghost of Tsushima really stood out because of how it looked. I think that is a perfect example that video games can be art. Because Ghost of Tsushima is a beautiful game. It is like visually one of the best looking games I've ever seen. But other than that, I think everything else was kind of mid. The combat was pretty much just rock, paper, scissors, and the story was alright, again, except for the ending. I think the ending was awesome. So honestly, I expect pretty much the same thing for Ghost of Yōtei. I think it will be a decent to good game to today's very low standards, and since the PS5 is a fucking failure, maybe this becomes like the PS5 console seller, which is kind of depressing seeing how long the PS5 has been out. But if I'm being honest here, I'm going to wait till it comes out on PC before I even think of touching this game.